Hello my friends and welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Series Let's Play 199. Pretty good. And I hope you all enjoyed the 100 subscribers special. I'm now at 103 subscribers, so that's pretty cool, so thank you all for that. And yeah, there's a few news updates. This is about the World Championship 2024 qualifiers. If you don't really care too much about that, you can basically just treat it as another Duelist Cup. And like, you can always feel free to pause, maybe like turn down the speed so you can get a good look at everything. That was about the remote duel. I guess that's kind of cool, but I don't think there's anything like gem rewards you get for that. So unless you care about remote duels or like competitions, you probably don't need to do that. And here I'm just showing off some of the information for the gem packs. Once again, it looks like they restock them. They seem to occasionally do that. I'm not sure if they actually would let you do the Welcome Gem Pack 2000 every time they restock, but I think the other ones they probably do. So that was that news, and then here's the next news, which is about the Road to Worlds campaign. I'm not sure if this is when we get gems, so... Oh, wait, no, that Road to Worlds campaign, that's like, I think you get... That's more login-based reward stuff. And then there's also the panel missions, which is good for new players. Pretty easy missions there. Like, they may take you a couple of days because one of them, like, is about logging in 2 times, so you can't really rush that. But the others you can basically get done in a day pretty easily if you really wanted to. And if you complete the whole panel, you get 500 gems. I'm just telling you that on top of all the other rewards from the missions, I know this because luckily, like, I had an account that was counted as a returning player. I think in order to be deemed as a returning player, I think you need to like be out of the game for about 1 or 2 months. So it's not exactly worth it, because you're probably getting more gems from playing every day than you do from the return panel. Probably getting a lot more gems, especially like from like festival stuff, everything like that. Like, even if you do get a free structure deck, like, you can buy 3 of the structure deck anyway. This is just about the new packs out in the shop. But yeah, I think they also have the returning, or the new... The thing that was cool about the Sword Soul one, though, is that, like, even if you're not new, you can still, like, help each other out. And even as a player that plays every day, you can still get a lot of the stuff, as well as a new player getting a lot of stuff as well, which is pretty cool. I think the player who played every day may get more, but still quite a bit of rewards there. But I think you can only get that structure deck once, which is probably not that big of a deal, but like... Oh yeah, this is the Galaxy Eye structure deck that returning players can get. You get 1 copy, but of course you can always buy 2 more. A few good notable cards that aren't just good for the Galaxy Eyes is like trade-in. So it's kind of nice if you get one of these for free. You get a free trade-in, which is pretty cool. Can be pretty useful for other decks as well. Other decks that play a lot of level 8 monsters. Notably Blue Eyes, probably like the most notable thing that people like to use trade in. And then Galaxy Soldier, I think it is, that level 5 guy is a pretty good one for Cyber Dragons, because like he's a pretty easy special summon level 5 monster, and you of course like that because you have a lot of rank 5s to work with in the Cyber Dragon. And I believe he's also a machine, so he also works well for fusion summoning too. So he works well in both regards. And of course, being a light is also helpful as well, I'm sure, in Cyber Dragons, since a lot of the other Cyber Dragon monsters are also light. It's basically a light-based deck, so it's probably helpful there. That that one card that makes everything a machine is actually a lot better than I thought, though. Like, it's really cool. Like, it's a pretty easy combo with that one fusion that can just use machines on both sides of the field, and you don't even need to use a polymerization to go into it. Like, you put down the clockwork spell, and then you just remove all monsters on opponent's side of the field in order to easily go into it as well. Like, that's kind of crazy. I think you do need one Cyber Dragon, but it's pretty easy to get there. Oh yeah, here's the different accessories, and you can always slow down if you want to read the descriptions and stuff. I just feel like it's probably a better idea if I like move faster through this sort of stuff, move faster through the decks as you saw. Maybe just talk about some of the notable stuff. I guess some of the notable stuff for the, like, if you're into the Galaxy eyes, like, they got some pretty cool I think new cards to work with. Like, the Link is pretty good for like removing stuff during the opponent's turn. But I really like the trap. Like, the trap that remains on the field for a few turns. Like if you send any like Photon Galaxy. One thing I did note is that the tokens doesn't count. I don't think you can send tokens, but like if you send like a non-token to the graveyard, like you can pull off one of the effects. But if you send a galaxy-sized Photon Dragon, you can pull off both. So it's a way to get even more special summons from deck. Go for one and another, and then if you send a galaxy-sized Photon, which I think it's always worth it to try to use that effect as much as possible. Like, you get either the add a galaxy, I think it's Spell or Trap, or maybe it's just any galaxy card, which is really cool. Oh yeah, there I showed off how they changed the wording of destroy a monster to destroy a monster by battle, which that is very helpful, because like that proficiency 13, it was probably confusing like why it wasn't counting. But I figured it was like that because I remember, I think that was like an issue with like another one where it said destroy and then they meant destroy by battle. Here I'm going through the test. This one took me a little bit, but I eventually figured out like it was saying like which one is false. And I realized like the only one that actually affects like something being sent from the graveyard to another zone is the place where Access Code removes a monster from the graveyard in order to destroy something. All of the others didn't really affect like sending a monster from the graveyard to anywhere else, so it had to have been that one. I actually did a pretty good job with this one. This is not just my first attempt. Like, I felt like these questions were actually pretty simple. Like dealing with a lot of archetypes I already kind of knew about. There was one question that tripped me up, though. This one was a little confusing, though. I think I just got lucky. Like, I basically used Process of Elimination in this one. I figured, like, it can't be any of the others, because, like, a lot of them, like, don't really have anything to do with Live Twins anyway. I figure Boo Boo Game kind of does, so I figure, like, I don't think it's Frost, so I think I'm going with Boo Boo Game. But after I looked at the reason why, after I tried deeming it from the artwork of the two, and I just don't really see it. So when I go into the artwork, if anyone else sees how it's represented within Boo Boo Game, please tell me why, because like I just wasn't seeing it. I even took a good long look at both. I still didn't see it. So, oh yeah, Sarah is not destroyed there because like the destroy is part of the trap effect. So that was, I think, pretty obvious. This one kind of tripped me up as well, though. Oh, maybe I got... Oh yeah, that's the one that I got incorrect. I think I was misunderstanding what it was asking, maybe. And then this one, I think I kind of guessed on, because I didn't actually exactly remember what the effect of this was, even though I play a little bit in the Super Heavy Samurai, but it's probably mostly for the fact that I could search for the spell canceller, so I don't think I was really paying much attention to that part of the effect. Like, it's really easy to bypass part of the effect that doesn't really matter as much to you. Although it is nice that it's unaffected by certain cards. It's, of course, nice, but it's so easy to be just destroyed by battle, too. So, yeah. But it is kind of nice that it's a link, too, so it's pretty easy, especially summoning once again off of the effect of Sprite Elf. But, of course, when you special summon it with Sprite Elf, you'll no longer be able to use its search effect because its link arrows will be pointing to backgrounds. You can't summon monsters to background normally. I don't think there would be any way to do it at that point. Yeah, and then here's, and I show off all the cards, like, so if you want to get a better understanding. Of course, like, the question's always randomized, so just because I do it, it doesn't really spoil much, I would say. I guess it, like, kind of helps if you happen to get some of these questions, but it's always so randomized. I just happened to get a few good ones this time. I'm glad, because, like, I think the last time I did the quiz for 13, the questions were kind of difficult, so I'm glad I had a bunch of fairly simpler ones this time. Luckily, I didn't have to be perfect. Sometimes you do. But this time, like, I could miss one and still get it, which was nice. So anyway, oh yeah, now I'm going off into the, buying the Duel Pass, the Gold Duel Pass. I basically just waited till the end. I mean, you don't have to do it that way. It doesn't really matter how you do it. But, definitely buy it at some point if you do make it to the end. Because as you see, I spent 700 gems. And I got 1,000 gems. So, I got 300 extra. So, it's almost like it didn't even matter. So, I still made 300 gem profit plus all of the CP that I got. And of course, the accessories are kind of nice too. I mean, those are a few 100 gems as well, basically in the form of accessories. For anyone who cares about that, I don't know how much I care about, like, getting new accessories, but I mean, it can be helpful for, like, when I'm trying to get themed with duels. Unfortunately, I could only do one here. I could only do the Tistina. This is kind of just the second round, I guess, because unfortunately the stream got cut off because before I could show off the full Tistina duel. But this time I just do the Tistina because, like, I didn't want the video to go too long, and, like, even with just this one duel with everything extra, it still is gonna be about a 30-minute video. I did cut off a little bit, but I figured since it was already under 30 minutes, I don't really need to cut much, so I just cut a little bit at the end, so it's not really any big deal. Anyway, I basically just show the deck. I think the notable features about this deck, the Tistina side of it, is basically kind of what I want to do. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the OTK, as you see, because, like, I activated Pot of Prosperity in the first turn. So I could have gotten the OTK, as you will see, but I didn't get because... But I think the Prosperity was still pretty important. I wasn't too worried about that, though. I guess if you could think about it, like, that one robot level rank 10 guy kind of acts as another way to get rid of the face down spells and drafts, like, which will be mostly what the face down cards are. Since I only have one of the Tistina Exceed, but it is really nice, like using some of the other Tistina cards to put everything, to make sure everything is face down, and then making the Exceed basically a full board wipe, which can be pretty nice. But it doesn't always work out that way against the opponent here, because of course they have a lot of chainable back row. Yeah, but, like, even I think, like, it's actually pretty consistent to do the whole full board wipe if you can. Putting everything face down and then making sure that like everything's sent to the graveyard with Exceed Tistina. So it's kind of cool for that regard. Of course, like having one of the field spell is kind of not that big of a deal because like I do have the 3 searchers as well, so it's almost like I have 4 of the field spell. Maybe that's a better way to do it anyway. I don't know. You probably don't need 3 of the field spell because which is kind of nice because the field spell is the higher rarity anyway if you're trying to build this deck yourself. So I've had to try to figure out which ones I want to get rid of. I'm glad I didn't get rid of the robot because he actually came in handy, making sure I could eventually get down the rest of my opponent's life points. So I think I made a pretty good decision of the cards I wanted to get rid of here. I also had opportunities to go into Zeus, but I decided not to. Because I kind of already had a board, and I didn't really want to have Zeus get rid of, all that board. I mean, I do have ways of getting the stuff back, but, I mean, still. Yeah, I would say basically the MVP of the Tistina deck is probably the Exceed. But, of course, the Exceed paired with the one that can... That can basically, during my main phase, put everything face down. Though I guess the other level 10 is kind of nice, even though it's a little bit hard to activate, because you can do it during your opponent's turn. I'm not sure how much that matters though if you're getting OTK, but and then yeah, I think the Tistina deck kind of reminds me of other decks where pretty much. Or maybe T-Elements or other archetypes where pretty much all of the cards are actually usable. I think I don't think there's a single non-Tistina card that I didn't play. I think pretty much all of the Tistina cards available right now, at least. I think they're all pretty usable in their own rights. I could be wrong, but I think that's pretty much true. And it's nice, how much searching there is with the Tistina deck. It's probably one of the more consistent OTK decks right now, so that's kind of nice. Of course, I'm not sure how good it is being able to bypass if there's a lot of negates, but so I'm not sure how well it would do on the ladder. Unfortunately, it's not really in the meta right now, but it's pretty fun to play though. Pretty fun to turn everything face down and then hopefully send most of it to the graveyard. Yeah. I mean, here I would have been able to get the OTK if it wasn't for that pod prosperity, but I still think the prosperity got me something pretty good. It got me that play of the Tistina, which is nice for special summoning stuff. I mean, maybe I didn't need that, but maybe I could have gone the OTK if I had not done the pod prosperity. Maybe I didn't need to, but whatever, it's fine. I got the win eventually, so it doesn't really matter too much. It's not that hard to beat the computer, even if you make a few mistakes. Of course, the demigod is nice because it's all you need is any Tistina card, and it's just a free special summon. So that's one of the reasons why it's so easy to pack a few level 10s, and and the Tistina deck doesn't really restrict you at all. So it's nice to be able to make other rank 10s besides the main Tistina rank 10. So I guess while this is going here, so that I don't run out of time for the verse, I'll go over the verse right now. So, based on how U-verse was it's he sets them, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. He being Jesus. And then they being the disciples. So they went in a boat to a solitary place. Mark 6:31, 2:32. Yeah, it's 6:31. Okay. And then the new international version translation is, then because so many people were coming and going that they did not. Oh, the U version took out a lot of the words. Then because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. I guess you don't really need to know the background, but I guess it's kind of nice that you know the background with the New International Version translation. So, come with me. So I guess it's because like the crowd was pretty hectic. And maybe like he was finishing up, people were wanting to eat anyway, so he figured like the ministry was like pretty much over. He said like, yeah, we can go now, like looks like people are pretty much just wanting to eat now, so like this is probably a good time to leave. The ministry is pretty much over now, so we can go to some solitary place, which is always good. Like, this is basically like Jesus' way of getting them to do quiet time, to make sure that they have some structured quiet time in addition to maybe the not as structured quiet time, which I think it's good to have both. And that's kind of like how like it would be going to probably more of a small group setting. It's probably good to have like structured quiet times while also having like quiet times that you like set up by yourself. It's probably better to have both, because in case like there was something maybe you didn't think of, like when like, because you're not gonna think of everything, but like when you're in a group, like they bring up stuff like you weren't even thinking about maybe. So I guess it's good to have both, I would say. So that's why I think small group is pretty good. Like, I don't know, but it's of course always good to like have a balance of both. I don't know what I really want to say about this verse very much. If anyone wants to let me know, I don't know if I really participate much in small group, but I guess maybe it's like it could also just be about being there, so maybe you can like hear stuff maybe you weren't thinking about. As long as you're maybe paying attention, maybe you don't need to really. Maybe it's more about just being there. I don't know. And then even if like you don't really have very many specific prayer requests when they do the prayer section, like I guess the general prayer could be good, because maybe you still hear something that you weren't even thinking about, I guess. Anyway, I think that's pretty much the verse, but of course if anyone wants to discuss it further, it's fine with me. If you want to try to take the reins, maybe someone like who's like a lot more knowledgeable. I'm not saying that I'm the most knowledgeable when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, I would say like some verses are easier for me than others, because like I don't always go about doing the best with every single verse, but I think that's like how a lot of people are. You just need to it's more about just trying, I would say. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the Goosebumps now since the video is finishing up here. It's been a while since I did the Goosebumps because like problems happened, but at least now I'm able to get back into it. So the Goosebumps I would like to talk about for this video, as it's ending here, is, what was it? It was the one before Harriet's Adventure. Oh, I think it's Attack the Mutant. Yeah, I think that was the one. So, Attack the Mutant is a pretty cool one. Like, it's especially cool if you're into, like, the comic book characters. I'm kind of am into the superhero / comic book. I don't really read a lot of comic books, but I kind of do like the superhero vibe. So it's kind of a cool one. The ending for the show was a lot different, though. I'm not necessarily sure if that's like necessarily a bad thing that it was a lot different. Like, he basically showed himself off to be an actual hero rather than just like having, like, I guess, like ink for blood. Like, that was kind of cool in the book, like showing the ink thing, more the ink side of things. So I guess they were both pretty good in their own rights. I don't know if like one's necessarily better than the other. I guess I liked the book because it kind of like described more of the action scenes, like the way the, I don't know, there were a lot of similarities though too, of course. Like, he basically tricked the mutant in the same way. I don't know if like one was necessarily better than the other this time. It was kind of cool, like, actually seeing the disappearance and the appearance of the building in person. Although in the show, to me, like, I'm not sure if the building looked exactly the way it did in the comic book, and maybe that would have been hard, like, to do. But like, I don't know. It's just like when you saw in the real world, it kind of looked a lot different. Here I'm going through a few packs. So if anyone wants to let me know more information about the book or the TV show adaptation, The Attack of the Mutant, you can feel free to let me know. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on either or both. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. And before I go, I want to say something. Like, it's easy to have dreams, because like I sometimes have dreams about, and like have dreams like if your life was like different, like, because like I usually have dreams where I'm a lot more talkative and stuff. And I guess like it's easy to have those kinds of dreams where like you're a different personality and thinking like, man, like my life might be better if I had this sort of personality like I do in my dreams. But there's like, of course, like pros and cons to it, like, because like sometimes like if you had that kind of personality, there might be a lot more responsibility put on you. So like there's definitely pros and cons. So like it's easy to think like about it like when the dreams don't show you the consequences of that kind of personality. But if you actually went into it, you may find a lot of the times that like, sure, it seems good, but there's also a lot of like reasons why maybe it's best that you're the way you are. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to support me, you can check out those affiliate links and maybe buy something until I can get enough subscribers.